A man wakes up in an army infirmary, bards singing outside, a commander grumbling about the rations, his friend saying goodnight, an ordinary evening. And then the bard sings the exact same song. The commander grumbles the exact same words. Because this man has lived this night before. He died in this night before, in his sleep, without ever waking up, killed by something he never saw coming. His name is Encrid. He has no talent, no bloodline, no cheat. Only a curse that restarts his day every time he dies. He just clawed his way past one impossible wall, and now a second one is standing over his bed in the dark, with a poisoned needle. This is the story of the wall with no face. Let me tell you all of it. Quick catch-up if you're new here. Encrid is the talentless squad leader of the 444th, the army's dumping ground of misfits, the madmen. His body is a farmer's, not a fighter's. But he carries a curse. When he dies, the day comes back, and only he remembers. He's just spent over 100 deaths clawing his way past his first wall, an enemy swordsman who was simply better than him, and it nearly killed his whole squad to drag him off that battlefield alive. Which is where we are now. Encrid wakes bandaged 2 days later. 2 days. Time is moving. The wall is really broken, and the infirmary becomes the best hangout in the series. Rem takes credit for saving him, and Encrid blurts out that Rem is a wanted noble hunter, sending the barbarians scrambling to shut him up before the whole tent hears his bounty. Kreis announces Encrid owes him triple for the gear. Fine, double, as a discount. Auden stands over the bed crying mid-prayer, "I'm alive, you can leave." Ragnar walks in, sees him awake, and immediately walks back out. And Jackson quietly leaves an ointment for the wounds. No speech. From Jackson, that's practically a hug. 2 strangers share the tent, a blank-eyed soldier, and Vengeance, a platoon commander with a talent for picking fights with Encrid specifically. Then the flap opens on something nobody expects. An elf, the new fairy commander of the 4th Company. Vengeance greets her by blurting, "A fairy," and gets verbally filleted. She claims she came to see the squad leader who handles his difficult squad well, but on her way out, she asks one pointed question. The young soldier's name. Krang. And she looks at him like she can hear the lie. Because Krang doesn't add up. Refined bearing, perfect manners, a name that fits like someone else's coat. Vengeance says what the army thinks. What country's spy is he? Krang steps close, iron in his voice. He is not, and never will be, someone who betrays this kingdom. And Encrid says what he sees in the man's eyes and movement, something like a knight's presence. That's the conversation that leads to the quietest, most important scene of the arc. Krang asks what Encrid is working so hard to become. He hesitates. People always laugh. Then he lifts his sword anyway. "I want to become a knight." Krang doesn't laugh. He goes still, like a man remembering something he'd lost. "Now I know what I have to do." And then, "If you really do become a knight one day, remember my name, friend." That evening, the camp settles. A bard sings about the hero of the battle. Vengeance complains about the rations. Krang says goodnight. An ordinary evening, and then the bard sings the same song. Vengeance complains about the same rations, word for word. Encrid jerks upright. He died, in his sleep, in the dark, without ever waking. The next wall has no face. Loop 2, he stays up, watching the entrance, and a needle punches through his throat from a direction he never saw. Through fading vision, he watches shapes move like smoke. Vengeance, needled in silence. Krang, a blade through him, dead before he can rise. Then, in one loop, a blade rips the canvas open beside him, and for half a second, through the gash, he sees a figure standing out in the dark. The fairy commander. The suspicion plants itself and grows, loop after loop, into near certainty. The elf who walked into their tent is one of them. So he tries everything. He warns Vengeance. "You've completely lost it." Seconds before a voice behind the canvas asks, "How did you know?" and kills them all anyway. He runs to the higher-ups and gets thrown out for raving. He screams, "Assassin!" at the perfect moment, and dies anyway, a step too slow. He stands guard inside the tent, blade drawn, and they come through the wall behind him. 12 deaths to an enemy, he has never once laid eyes on. And here's the moment that defines Encrid. He doesn't despair. He smirks. Only 12. Then he goes to the one man in camp who kills exactly like this. Jackson. What would it take to survive an ambush by someone like you? Jackson answers, completely straight-faced, I don't know. No one has ever survived one of my ambushes. Perfect. Then I'm asking the right person. Jackson's lesson is strange and brilliant. He predicts a wagon collapsing behind them just by hearing the axle creak. Sound spreads everywhere, even in silence. Pull one thread of it out of the noise, and your ears become eyes in the back of your head. So Encrid sits in the open, eyes closed, and listens. Footsteps from wind. Flags by their flapping. And still dies. Loop 33. Loop 34. No trick is coming. Just the thing he does best. Repeat it until the impossible becomes routine. Until one day he hears it. A single bird landing on a distant flagpole, and soon after, he's sitting cross-legged, eyes closed, and as Krang walks toward him, he simply opens them. Krang stops short. He never made a sound. Yet the talentless squad leader heard him coming. The training is working. The night comes again. The needle flies, and Encrid moves. Blade from under his pillow, a slash, and for the first time the assassin stumbles back, off balance, sweating. The fight is vicious. A thrown dagger opens Encrid's chest, and then the tent wall splits open, and the fairy commander steps through. Kill or be killed. He thrusts at her. She jumps over the strike, and blocks a spray of poison needles with her cape like she's brushing off rain. Needles meant for Krang. Every loop, he'd been certain she was one of them. He was wrong. She was never the killer. She was the bodyguard. Encrid drives the assassin's hands aside, and the killer flees into the night. In the silence after, the pieces assemble. Nobody hires assassins for a nobody squad leader. The target was Krang. He thinks fast, the commander observes, right before her hand drifts to her sword, because the simplest way to keep tonight's secret is no witnesses. Krang steps between them. I don't want anyone dying today. She bows. As you wish. Even vengeance. Since he's not dead yet. There's an antidote. He'll live. And the evidence? Encrid looks at the lantern fire and offers the easy answer. They burn the tent and let the camp believe what fires let people believe. Second wall. Broken. The goodbyes are quick, because they have to be. The commander asks Krang the real question. He changed his mind about something. Was it because Encrid slowed that assassin down? Krang smiles. Don't you agree he's interesting? He'd been avoiding his duty, and then he watched a man with no talent train himself half to death every dawn. His drive must have rubbed off on me. We'll meet again, each in our own role. This is the man who said, if you become a knight, remember my name. Friend. Whoever he really is, he'll be back. And on the Black River, a scythe rises from the water and folds into the ferryman. Frustrated now, but no less certain. You'll see me again. Encrid meets him with pure determination. Anytime. Back at camp, Vengeance, alive and deeply confused, asks why Encrid saved him from the fire after all their fighting. Because we're comrades. I don't need another reason. And something has changed without anyone announcing it. When a downpour drives the whole squad into the hut, they don't just wait it out. Jackson, Ordin, Ragnar, Rem, the strongest men in the army, men who never taught anyone, all start throwing him ways to get stronger, each in their own way, like they've finally found something worth investing in. Rem grumbles he's getting predictable in their spars, but looking at that steady, determined gaze, admits he doesn't dislike it. Then, in a war room far above his head, someone orders one more scouting mission before winter, deep into enemy grass country. And the fairy commander, for reasons she calls just a fairy's instinct, recommends one name. His. That mission is where Encrid meets the man who'll kill him more times than every wall so far combined. But that is the next video. If you want it, subscribe and hit like so I know you're in. I rank every manhwa I recap on Toon Ranks. Link below, see where this one placed. Real titles in the pinned comment. See you in the vault.